If you're anything like me, you probably feel a twinge of guilt whenever you try to step away from your to do list. You might even feel like taking a break means that you're slacking off or falling behind. But what if I told you that embracing rest could actually be the key to unlocking your full potential? Today, we are going to shift that mindset and talk about how you can incorporate guilt free breaks into your routine so that you can recharge, reset, and come back stronger than ever. Trust me, this is a game changer. Welcome to the Mindful Introvert podcast. I'm Joe, your guide from mindfulintrovert.com on a mission to inspire and empower you. As an inner peace and abundance coach, I'll help you slow down, trust your intuition, and explore spirituality for a more peaceful life. Ready to be empowered? Let's dive into today's episode and embark on your journey to self discovery and fulfillment. Feeling lost or stuck, wondering what's next on your journey? Introducing Mystic Meets Oracle card readings that go beyond fortune telling. Discover the clarity, confidence, and connection you've been seeking. Each reading is a sacred experience guiding you to align with your inner wisdom and manifest your deepest desires. Whether you're facing a tough decision or simply curious about the path ahead, Mystic Meets is your key to unlocking the magic within. Ready to find your true path? Book your Mystic Meets Oracle card readings today. Your journey to self discovery starts now. Mystic Meets, where the magic of the universe meets you. Today's episode is all about taking a break, completely guilt free. We'll explore why it's crucial, how to embrace it, and practical tips to make it happen. So, if you've ever felt guilty when you try to take a break, believe me, you are not alone. So, let's just change that mindset today. Let's begin by explore the importance of taking a break. So, it's really good for our mental health and it has obviously many benefits, reduced stress. It really helps you to prevent burnout because you're not a machine, let's face it. You're not a machine. You cannot always be producing, improvement all the time. So it's really important to take those clean breaks, that clean rest that improves your overall mental health. And it gets you those creativity boosts and that excitement about life all over again when you take a break. Um, Again, productivity boost is another benefit of taking breaks. So, those regular breaks can really increase your productivity. Even if it sounds counterintuitive, sometimes you are in the flow on a certain task and you just go. You don't take breaks to go to the bathroom, you don't eat, you don't do anything. You're just like completely in flow, completely in focus mode, but this can be very tiring for your brain because once you have to get away from that action and maybe spend time with your family or spend time with your friends or maybe do some social or even hobbies that you enjoy, you kind of don't have the energy for that. And you just need to allow your brain to recharge. So major productivity boost benefit when you take breaks. And I don't know if you've noticed, but sometimes I get quite stuck in a problem, especially if it has any creativity associated, and I just need to get away from it. Sometimes the actual action of just getting up, grabbing a glass of water, and just getting out of this energy of your office or your home office if you're working from home, it just brings new perspectives and it's just new air. It's good. So it also helps with your creativity and problem solving. So all of this is very connected, like I was saying, stepping away, just giving your mind some space to solve those problems with more creativity and efficiency, because when you really allow that time and that space, your stress level reduces. And I don't know if I've ever mentioned this in the podcast before, but if not, well, you'll hear this for the first time. And if I have, you'll hear it again because repetition is your friend. So we all have a stress bucket, let's say, and that is the amount of stress that you can deal with, right? And so this bucket is different for everyone. Some people can hold a lot of stress, others cannot hold any stress at all. So each person's bucket is quite different, and it also changes as we evolve and as we go through different phases of our lives. So this bucket has at the end of it a little tap. Imagine this. Imagine a tap, like, one of those containers that when you're at parties, they have like a little tap at the end and you can just get your drink from. I have one of those. It's amazing. Recommend. Get it from IKEA. Get it from Amazon, whatever. It's quite fun to just drink out of that little thing. You control the tap, whatever. I'm just going on a tangent here. I'm sorry. So imagine that your stress bucket is like that, one of those, right? And all of the situations in life that are potential stressors add on to this bucket. So imagine just water in the form of stress filling up this bucket. And that tap is your hobbies, any social engagements that you have, anything that de-stresses you, basically. Taking those breaks, meditating, sleeping, doing things you enjoy, all of that gets the tap running. And if you don't do any of that, the tap never runs. Sometimes it gets a little bit stuck. Sometimes it can even get clogged. So it just accumulates stress on your in your little container. And eventually that container is going to overflow if you don't get the tap running. So then you start to burn out, then you start to not being able to manage stress, and you want more productivity, but your body physically cannot. Sometimes you have a panic attack or you have physical manifestations of stress, aka as like maybe like you have a disease, an actual disease, physical manifestations of that stress accumulation. So it's very, very important to get that tap running, because the problem here is not the stress. Like, you'll have stress in all areas of life at any given moment because quite a lot of stressors happen in our lives. Yes, it's also how we deal with stress, but let's just face it, some things are just stressful and they are going to fill up your stress container. So we cannot fully eliminate stress. That is not very realistic. But what we can do is counteract it, counterbalance it with things we enjoy doing, taking breaks, being mindful of our body reactions to certain situations, certain people, and just connect to our intuition and connect to our body to really understand, okay, I need to let my mind and my body rest. It's really, really important. And we feel guilty because we have a lot of pressure. Sometimes that pressure comes from external sources, cultural pressure, society pressure, that we really need to be constantly working, and that brings us success and brings us a sense of self-worth and a sense of being needed and being valued by others and being complimented by the actions that we do and the effort we put in. But that's the thing, that pressure, then you start to normalize those compliments, you start to normalize that level of success, and then it's not enough. So then you fight for more and you just strive for more and more, and it gets to a level that you are not Superman or Superwoman. You cannot do more beyond your abilities, beyond the amount of hours you have in your day. So it's really giving grace to say, okay, I am doing my best. If other people don't see that, there's nothing I can do. I cannot be burning myself to show them something that they are unable to see. And then there's also internal pressure, just that pressure that comes from within, where sometimes you're a little bit perfectionistic, you want to do the best, or sometimes it's not doing the worst. And there's a lot of comparison as well, and expectations that and rules that you have for yourself. Sometimes they are rules that you learned from your friends, your parents, your past, and certain correlations that you've made in your life that tells you that you need to pressure yourself, because if not, you're not accountable, you cannot trust yourself to figure it out, and if you're resting, you're just lazy, you won't amount to anything in life. And so this internal pressure is really hindering you, because you could just take a 5 minute, 20-minute break and then have much more productivity, much more motivation and willingness to work harder than if you just kept on going. Um, and then sometimes this pressure is bound with a lot of shoulds. I should do this, or I must do this. And that energy sometimes can be quite restrictive. And so it feels that guilt and that shame that then follows. They're all connected with the dialogue we have with ourselves, the expectations we have with ourselves, and the goals that we have. And sometimes those goals are not very realistic, because sometimes they don't respect time frames that allow us to be healthy, that allow us to sleep, allow us to eat, allow us to enjoy our friends. And we're so focused on the outcome that we kind of lose the process, we kind of lose the journey, and that can be very pleasurable as well. So very important to be mindful of this. And then it's also a FOMO, so the fear of missing out, fear of falling behind, just that constant fear. And this, I think, comes along with comparison as well, and spending a lot of time on social media, where I see sometimes a lot of women that are mothers not taking care of themselves, not resting, not having a day for themselves, because they just focus on their kids, they focus on their family, and rightfully so. But at the end of the day, they kind of lose their essence and the side of themselves that was there before being a mom. And they don't recognize that if they do take that moment for themselves, they will be so much more willing and nurturing, and better moms, better wives, better partners, better friends, because they are a little bit de-stressed. But it's dealing with the guilt. Sometimes these people take these breaks, but is the guilt associated with it, and that guilt you have to really reframe. So that's one of the steps of dealing with this guilt, is reframing how you talk to yourself, is understanding how you are really having that inner dialogue. Because if you are shaming yourself, of course you're going to feel guilt. Of course, if you're saying to yourself, oh, there you are, lazy again, spending 3 hours in front of the TV, binge watching this show that doesn't even add anything to your life. Yeah, it might not add anything to your life, you might not be learning anything, but you are losing this, like de-stressing a bit, you are letting go of some stress. So there is a positive gain to it. Sometimes you just numb yourself out, so that's what it is. So yeah, self-compassion is key to help you reframe this mindset and talk to yourself as if you're talking to a friend. I say this all the time. We really need to be compassionate and kind and caring towards ourselves, because if not, we are not being good to ourselves. We're not loving ourselves. And it's all about how we interpret the things we're telling to ourselves. If you almost have a agreement with yourself saying, okay, I'm gonna break for 20 minutes and it's going to be completely clean rest, and then I'll be fully motivated and fully committed to spending an extra hour working on this report that I have to do for work or something like that. So it's having those agreements, but in a nurturing way. And then we really need to be rethinking productivity. It cannot be what society thinks productivity is, because if we go about that in that way, we are comparing ourselves to machines that are producing 24/7. We are not machines. We cannot be working nonstop. So, productivity, you need to understand what is the default mode for you. What does it mean to you? Obviously, if you are working for an employer, obviously you need to understand what sort of productivity levels they expect of you, if they are manageable. If they're not manageable, have a conversation with your manager. If that still doesn't change, maybe rethink your situation, because at the end of the day, your health is much more important. If you don't have a sufficient way of de-stressing and enough resources to do your work, you are going to burn out, and that is going to cost more to the company anyway, because you're going to be away. So, really understand what is sustainable and what is effective work for you. If you are an entrepreneur, is this these goals and these objectives sometimes are a little bit more flexible, but sometimes having to set them can be even more stressful, because it all relies on you. You define your own level of productivity. So that in itself sometimes can be stressful, which sometimes happens because you think that, oh, I need to just work 24/7 and entrepreneurship is so difficult, this and that. Yes, it can be like that, but then you are your own boss and you can be flexible. You can be a kind boss to yourself. You can still be accountable, you can still work hard, but then you can just be flexible and give yourself grace as well. And so understanding that rest is a necessity. So it's not a luxury. It's not, oh, I'm treating myself to some rest. No, that should be the priority. That should be the priority, and it shouldn't be a reward. It should be something that you incorporate in your day. In fact, you prioritize in your day, you prioritize in your calendar, same as you need to eat, same as you need to sleep a certain amount of hours. Prioritize your well-being, and everything else will go much much smoother. So, some practical tips for guilt free breaks. We can think about scheduling those breaks, like I was saying, prioritizing these planned breaks and make it as a non negotiable appointment in your calendar. And maybe spend 20 minutes reading your favorite book, or spend 10 minutes sipping your coffee or your tea or your favorite beverage in a mindful way. So, schedule these times in your day in a way that is intentional. And then you can just start small, like I say, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever works for you. And try having buffers in between meetings as well. Those buffers are important to prepare, like do some breath work, and to then de-stress after a meeting, because sometimes even if we're working online, we exchange energy with a lot of people, and sometimes they're a little bit more stressed, and it really impacts you. So cut the cords with people. That's actually a technique that is very good for like somatic manifestation as well. Cut the cords and let other people's energies go, and just remain with your own. And then go on mindful breaks. Just use your time, like go for a walk with your dog and just do some breathing, or go for a light jog and look around and see new colors, new textures. Just try to see the environment around you in a different way. And then, very important, set boundaries and define those work times and that rest time. Communicate these boundaries to others if you have to. put them in your calendar, make them non negotiable, and make them non negotiable for yourself as well. You have to do it because initially it might seem a bit odd, might seem a bit silly, but is necessary. You need to accustom your brain and your body to know that you can rest, you can enjoy resting, and you can focus solely on rest, doing something that helps you at a long term way. So, yeah, it's everyone really experience this guilt, and then it's not gaslighting yourself. It's not saying, oh, you shouldn't be feeling this way. Here you are having time to rest, and you're thinking about work, you're thinking about the things you have to do, you're not really resting. So just allow yourself to experience whatever it is that you're experiencing, and then say, this will pass. Like, you're not going to feel this way forever. So, giving yourself grace. So, yes, that's why deal with that guilt, deal with the shame, be compassionate and kind with yourself, reframe how this really affects you and what is productivity, and just embrace the clean rest a little bit more. And maybe start today, 5 minutes, start today. Do a meditation, do a breath work exercise, just work more towards a healthier and more mindful life. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here with me, and just go to the show notes and click the links and just connect with me. And until next time, just remember, taking care of yourself is the most productive thing you can do. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye. Thank you for joining me on the Mindful Introvert podcast. I hope you found inspiration to harmonize your mind, body, and spirit. If you're ready to explore your journey further, book a free inner peace assessment call with me at mindfulintrovert.com or use the link in the show notes. Together, we'll uncover the steps to manifest your dreams. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at the Woo Woo Scientist for daily tips and inspiration. Let's connect and continue this journey together.